Hey there, my fellow explorers, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Goblin Camp, Episode 3, Exploring Ruins. So I have some research points, and I'm going to research beams. I'm going to choose that for myself. So in the stock manager, I'm going to queue up some beams to make. I'll put my wooden beams up to, like, let's say 10. And one of the things that you get unlocked when you have access to wooden beams is if I go to the storehouse, I can make a storage shed, which is what I was making previously, or I can make a storage hut. And the storage hut is made out of beams and is like a sturdier building. Not all of the things that should probably open up access when you get access to beams, like the higher tiered housing, is accessible. But as you can see, it's one of those like in development designs. So like a higher tier weapon crafter, or a higher tier potter, or, you know, I've already built the higher tier kitchen. But you can do lower tier or higher tier kitchens, or, you know, so carpenters, so on and so forth. So having access to new building materials gives you the upgraded versions of said buildings. Alright, are we at the ruins yet? Not quite. So I had a... Okay. So the reason why this is taking a while, this raven statue, is I need to clear out a bush for it first. So often it's best, if you're trying to access new terrain, is to place your raven statues where there isn't something that needs to be harvested first, so that they can just drag the log out and start building it, rather than have to clear a bush. Because clearing bushes is one of those tasks that you create like hundreds of jobs for pretty regularly, and they're not going to get to it quickly. But I'm not going to queue up too many more tasks at the moment, because the goblins just have a huge backlog. There's 529 jobs and only 9 goblins. So they're shouldering quite the load. I'm pretty sure this one is dragging a log out to the shoreline raven statue. This one's probably going west. I don't know about the one going north. Oh, yeah, here's the one going north. I just spotted him underneath this orange tree. So we are getting the raven statues to get out to those ruins soon. At least the northern one. We'll watch him like a hawk. He's not actually the builder, though. Alright. Let's explore the ruins. At present, there is a bunch of different types of things that you can find from ruins. There's maybe like 5 different types of discoveries from ruins for the most part. But there's a lot more than 5 ruins. So I don't want to spoil it, but you'll see soon. And the shoreline raven statue got built. Nice. It's really hard to tell where I can build this. On an open tile that isn't fog covered because of the... that looks like a good spot. And what about the west one? Did that get built or not? I think... Is this the one we built? Or am I waiting for it to be built? I'm waiting for it to be built. I can see the log there, queued up and ready to go. And I think the builder's coming out... Oh, no. Debated. Alright, here's the builder. He's coming out now. I think. Where'd you go? Oh, no, maybe he's cutting down a tree. Because that's the build... Oh, so the build spot has a twig on it. A branch. So that's what's blocking it. Is it requires that branch to be hauled away first. Come on, someone discover the ruin, please. You're leaving chat in a state of perpetual suspense. And it's cruel and unusual and unnecessary. If you're wondering, it is... Yeah, you know, actually, maybe it isn't unfogged enough. Oh, no, here we go. Thank you. Who do we have to thank here? I don't know which one that is. Apia. So we got turnip seeds. Your goblins have explored ruins and found turnip seeds. So turnip seeds, the TLDR, is that they take a little bit longer to grow, but they are more food efficient for the work and also more food efficient for the fertility loss of the soil. Additionally, once you discover a ruin, you can break the ruin down for the stone that they're built out of. So don't forget to break down the ruins. And at some point, I'm going to want to set up a turnip farm, but I'm going to continue working on discovering those other two ruins first. New discovery. Simple stone structures. The goblins have learned to make use of rocks and stone they can find. Discovered from getting rough or dressed stone, and unlocks stone pavement, which is like a non-flammable version of duckboard. What I will say is, at least for now, quarrying is not in the game. I don't know if it's going to be in the development here. I haven't actually looked for it specifically. But my point is that stone is a kind of a... Oh, no. Stone can be discovered, unlocked by mining tools, but mining tools aren't in the game yet. So my point is, stone is kind of a precious resource, and you should not waste it, because you will have a very finite amount of it. But we got a little bit of stone, so that's good. Okay. And the focus for now will be to get out to the other two ruins, and then I'll pull you guys about the follow-up. Or actually, you know what? I'm going to pull you now. So we could build rope-making industry, explore ruins some more, prepare more farmland, or build a shaman hut. There you go. So if you want me to pivot, because I don't know how long it will take me to get to the two remaining ruins, I could pivot now. It looks like rope-making industry is potentially the popular choice here. Got it. I'll leave you one more minute to vote before confirming that. And I'm just looking for other ruins that are adjacent. I think all the closest ones I've already pointed out. So we have the eastern one still, and then the western one, and those are definitely the closest two. How do we get more goblins? So I mentioned this before, but there's two different ways. One is for natural immigration through the Gateway Rock, which is how your goblins arrived. but there's no telling how many will come or when they will come, or to use a goblin shaman to summon them. All right, so you guys want me to work on rope making industry. So let me pivot the priority. And I think what I'm going to do is I am going to abandon this farm plot because we have sapped the fertility out of the soil significantly and set up my rope making there. So I'm going to set up a redder here. I'll set up spinning. I'll set up threshing. And then rope making. And then on the remaining area, I'm going to set up a generic stockpile to store bulk goods using the whole 10 by 10 square. Hopefully a good use of the space. A lot of buildings are needed for rope making? Yes. Yes, indeed. Now, I'm currently playing a branch that has the sort of, what are they called? The waterworks type stuff set up. So the floodgates and the screw pumps and everything needed for rope making. At full release, it's going to be one of those things that you need to discover over time. I was just giving it to free as like a play test. But normally I don't think you would immediately jump into rope making really early on. You would need to have to make some discoveries first. So because it snowed... Oh, more goblins arrive! Word of your success of your settlement has spread into the underworld, and more goblins have decided to join you. If your camp is producing enough food to feed its inhabitants, none of them have died recently, more goblins may decide to try their luck in the middle world. If your goblin has a shaman, they can also grow your population by casting summon goblins. So, our population is now 13 out of 15 for housing, and 13 out of 12 for kitchens. So it's also going to be important to get that kitchen built. I'm going to close the gateway rock for now, because we aren't going to be able to feed all the goblins, and I'll reopen that once we either have a shaman, or we have the capacity to feed the goblins. You guys are tilling a field? I don't think you are. Oh. Alright, I am going to quickly... save and load. I think the Goblins AI got a little wonky there. Because of the rising seawater level. Yeah, it did. So we have a lot of work queued up. And I'm not going to instruct my goblins to do much else at the moment, just so that they can catch up with the backlogs of work tasks. Now, if you're wondering, I could unlock smoking. Smoking has a wolf meat, fish, and bird meat preserved and last longer, but at the cost of morale bonus. Basically, goblins would prefer it not to be smoked. So I'm gonna hold off on using my technology points to unlock that, because it's not something that makes the goblins happier. Of course, the morale system really isn't in the game yet, but if it was, that would not be a good thing to introduce for goblin happiness. The other thing I could do is to set up another carpenter to try to help the backlog of carpentry tasks from catching up. So I'll do that as well. And they're trying to move the items out of the way. It's quite possible that they simply don't have space to put them in. Ooh, well, here's the flood. No, they're still moving stuff around. So once they clear the area of like plant debris and other branches and the like that shouldn't be there, the rope making industry should get built. Oh, neat. The ruin over here actually gets flooded. That's cool. And looking across the river, there's a ruin here in the middle of my screen. You can see the orange. That shouldn't be too hard to get to once we have a top pontoon bridge. This ruin's really close to where our pontoon bridge comes in, so that will be really easy to get to. And there's one back there as well. And one here. That's pretty easy to get to because that's right where the pontoon bridge would go as well. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a stockpile. And I'm going to set this stockpile up specifically for, like, plant waste. Unfortunately, there isn't really an easy way to, like, remove all settings, as far as I know, from stockpiles. So if you don't want to have it necessarily store things, you have to go through and tell it all not to. To make sure it's all zeros. And then we'll scroll down to plant waste. Or plant garbage, I should say. And put 9999. And I'm putting it by the river's edge, because what I'm hoping to do is every time there's seasonal flooding, I hope that the floods actually just carry away the plant waste. What's that clacking? No, that's not my keyboard. That's the carpenters working at their carpenter huts. That's building noises. Again, another sacrifice. I don't want to do any sacrificing until we have a shaman. So I'm going to hold off on that. Alright, come on, buildings. So the redding yard has 2 earthenware pots. It needs just the 2 earthenware pots. So where the redding yard is, it also has some, like, plant garbage on the ground, which is blocking its construction spot. So essentially we just need to clear the area a little bit better, which comes in time. Sacrifice the weakest goblin? it's not that kind of sacrifice. Oh, okay, the rope maker shack is getting built. And the threshing, spinning, and redding yards should follow suit. So let's queue up coarse fiber, coarse thread, fine fiber, fine thread, rope. All the things that the this production chain will work on. And here's our other carpenter, and that might help out as well, if the carpentry was the bottleneck. We did get the second kitchen shack going, so now we can feed up to 24. And let's take a look at the jobs priority to see where the build is. So building a redding yard and building the threshing shack are down here. Oh, actually the redding yard is getting built right now. There it is. So, for reference, the Redding yard takes plant fibers, or makes fiber out of plant materials. So it basically takes the nettle stems and turns it into coarse fiber. And coarse fiber is made from willow branches or rough flax strands. So I have willow branches, and fine fiber is made from flax strands or nettle plant stems. And then the spinner produces coarse thread or fine thread. And that is from the coarse, that's the yield from the Redding yard. So the Redding yard makes the fibers, and the spinning makes the threads. You also have then the thresher. The thresher allows you to produce rye seeds. I don't really need a threshing shack just yet because I don't have rye yet. And then the rope maker makes rope from coarse or fine thread. So I don't necessarily need to make both coarse and fine, but I'd rather do a little bit of both so that if one is depleted, the other one is filling up the deficits. So there's our threshing shack, and then we're waiting on the spinner shed. So the spinner shed needs, let's see, 1 wood block. Oh, it has everything it needs. So we need to haul out the plant garbage that is in the way, and then it will get built. So if we take a look at the jobs listings, where is building it lie? Oh, it's at the bottom. Oof. Okay. I raised build priority up a bit. So there it is. It's now critical priority, but it's being blocked by something here, which requires hauling. Well, luckily the goblins will get around to hauling that plant garbage out of the way. It's also entirely possible... Oh! My haul spot... No, it's still right here. Never mind. Oh, yeah, they're getting it built now. I think it was just not queued up because there wasn't a free builder. So there's the spinner shed. So now I have the full production chain for rope, and we'll be able to manufacture rope. All right, what do you want me to do next? It's up to you. So I can explore ruin, prepare more farmland, build a shaman hut, or build a pontoon bridge. Have you guys choose between those 4 options. Seems like a lot of you are Team Shaman Hut. So Shaman's Hut is a 3x4, and I am going to make it look fantastic. At least I hope. A lot of this is just cosmetics, but I care about the cosmetic of the build, so... That actually might be a little too high. Let's go 11. Super Rascal, thank you for the resub. Cheers. Birds. Looks like egret. Flying overhead. If you're wondering, they're migratory birds, but you can't yet hunt them. I think that will be included in a future update. Am I worried about putting my shaman on a pedestal? No, the shaman should be on a pedestal. You'll see. Shamanism is kind of important. They are, after all, the spiritual leader of your entire community, so up you go! And we'll put duck board around there, too. Duck it up. Alright. Shaman hut getting built. And as you can see, the spinner yard and the redding yard, they're all working. Stock. What's my rope at? Coarse fibers, willow branches. So I'm gonna queue up some extra willow branches to be collected, just so that we have enough for some rough fiber. And we have 9 rope, so we're definitely making rope. That's good. Alright, so the shaman's hut itself, what does it need? 16 branches? That's not bad. So we just need to move some of the tools out of the way. And I think it's in the process of getting built now. The other thing, stock manager. I'm seeing if there's any food sources that I have not covered that I should collect. No, I think we're pretty good in that front. And here we go. Here's the shaman tech coming together. So thank you, Onoptopo, or whatever your name is. Oh, and you're probably going to be the shaman, because you're hardy and hard-blooded. So I'd imagine that you're going to get elected shaman. You're building your own hut, in effect. The camp has selected Ontopo as their shaman. Yeah, I was right. Okay, so the advance of having a shaman is that you get access to the spells list. So we have spells to lower earth, raise earth, start fires, summon goblins, summon a sacrificial tree, and summon water. I'm going to want to summon a sacrificial tree pretty early on. And I want to put this sacrificial tree maybe here, where I kind of already have a farm. So what I'm going to do is abandon this farm. Yep. Bye-bye plot. And put the tree... Actually, maybe I'll put the tree here. I want to put the tree kind of like in the heart of everything. So maybe I'll demolish this stockpile, which honestly just created a big mess. But the fertility of this farm field over here is like honestly ruined already. So I'm going to start stockpiling stuff there. And I'm going to wait a minute for the stockpile to get set up and for the goods to be hauled away. And then I'll drop the tree just across this from where the dungeon entryway is. And there's a little spot here for me to put a much smaller stockpile. So I'm just going to wait until a lot of that stuff is hauled away, and then I'll set up the tree. Tidy up the camp and then grow a tree is my current priority. Now the other thing I could do is use the Summon Goblin spell. And now our population is 16 out of 20. I'm going to do it one more time. So now our population is 20 out of 20. It's kind of perfect. Right? We can feed up to 24, but I have housing up to 20. So we have a goblin per house, essentially. And that used Vaki, which is our spell power. And that's roughly where I think the population count is most comfortable. Alright, next task. So I could continue exploring ruins, I could prepare more farmland, I could build a pontoon bridge, or I can set up a designated area for a bonfire. So let me explain what a bonfire is. Once a year, you can make sacrifices in a bonfire to appease the gods, the goblin gods. And that will increase the rate at which you gain Vaki, your spell power, and also increase the rate at which you gain research points. And increase the culture. And the reason I didn't build a bonfire the last 2 seasons is the bonfire is kind of an uncontrolled fire. So I wanted a shaman first so I can summon water. Because without being able to summon water, your bonfires can burn down everything. And I kind of didn't want that to happen. So I was waiting to build a bonfire so that I could put the fire out with summoning spells if I needed to. So the trees area is not clear yet. It should be soon. And here's our goblin lording over everyone. On topo, the goblin. Sitting on top. Looking down at everyone. Nah, he's just our spiritual leader. He's keeping everyone safe. Alright, you guys want a designated area for a bonfire? Got it. Okay. So, I'm going to wait for the water level to subside a little bit. And then I'll set up a bonfire area. Come on, dry out. Dry out already. I'll be more patient. Speaking of patient, I am just going to cast the tree. I'm not going to keep waiting. So it threw all the items that were in the way away. So the sacrificial tree rather, the way this works is you make sacrifices at the bonfire every year. And the more you sacrifice, the more the tree grows in influence. And the increase in tree level increases the amount of research point and spell points that you get per year. So I am then going to queue up clay statuettes and wooden spears and wooden statuettes for potential sacrifice. Because that's what you typically will sacrifice. So now I want to set up a bonfire area so that I don't burn down my village. Are the stockpiles full? They probably are. But I don't have a new area that I would want to designate for a stockpile, so they're probably full, and I also don't really care. Well, let's see. Maybe, let's go to the fertility overlay. Soil type. I could make a stockpile back here for clay. So I'm going to set the ground height here to more elevated. So that I can expand a stockpile, I guess. There, some of the parts I haven't been able to dig upwards or to landfill because of liquid on the ground, which we'll clear later on in the season. I'm also going to move this raven statue. I'm gonna build an extra one here, and then get rid of this one, so that we can have a larger stockpile. So some of the weirdness of the stockpile is just as a result of the liquid on the ground. Because it just keeps snowing. Now, if you demolish an older raven statue, the forest cover will be revealed, and the forest cover is mostly a result of the trees in the forest. So burning down the trees will also, like, temporarily remove forest cover. So if you're dealing with, like, a lot of forest cover, you could potentially just set fires to the forest to clear out the trees for better visibility. But, like, I wouldn't necessarily advise that. Playing with fire is, let's say, just ill-advised in the game. I wonder why I can't build on this last section here. Huh. Spring has begun. Thank you for tuning in to Goblin Camp, which originally streamed live on Twitch August 30th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow goblins.